What's good, y'all? Don't freak out. Yes, Aegislash and Doublade were both buffed pretty significantly, but in a ROM hack like this, something like that is kind of par for the course. Every single Pokemon is far stronger, and if Aegislash was left unchanged, it wouldn't be terrible, because just of the nature of how stance change works, it wouldn't be terrible, it would not be bad, but I want it to be still great, and I gave it a lot of new tools. Every Pokemon is given a fresh coat of paint. There's very few Pokemon that are pretty much unchanged. Actually, literally none. Pretty much every Pokemon is reworked. Tons of new moves exist. If you are new here, you're just clicking on this video because you like Aegislash. I've also made it so a lot of the Violet Pokemon as the middle forms are viable for a lot of 3-stage lines especially, and Doublade is one of those. I actually prefer Doublade's design, so you can probably see a tiny bit of favoritism seeping through, but at the end of the day, just the nature of how stance change works makes Aegislash still a very good option over Doublade, but Doublade, with the ability Expertise, is actually much stronger than Aegislash in Blade form. His attack with Expertise is Boost, which is a 25% boost that functions like Parental Bond, essentially. By the way, the logic of that, pretty damn obvious. He's 2 swords. I think it's really cool. Envision him hitting twice, and if you read the Pokedex, it says he's capable of carrying out intricate attacks by telepathically coordinating its 2 blades to deliver twice the slice in battle. So I just think that's really cool. You know, it talks about like attacking, rapidly alternating between offense and defense to bring down their prey. So I think it's really cool. So Doublade has the luxury of not only being stronger than Aegislash technically with Expertise, it can also switch between Levitate and Expertise a lot more viably because with Levitate it still has 125 base attack, while Aegislash with Levitate only has 50 base attack. It can't switch to its Blade form with Levitate. Not that that's a bad thing, actually. I'll get into why that's great in a little bit, but I'm going to talk about Doublade first. His HP is worse by a little bit than Aegislash, and his Spadef is significantly worse than Shield form on Aegislash, but within a Violet, max HP, max Spadef, you'll be taking hits really well, and your physical defense is significantly higher than Aegislash in Shield form. So I wouldn't say Doublade is objectively better, because at the end of the day, Aegislash is still Aegislash, but I think Doublade is definitely a very, very viable option over Aegislash, depending on what you need at that point in the game, and your personal preferences, and maybe your IVs and your nature and stuff as well. For example, if you had really good speed IVs or a plus speed nature, you might want to run Aegislash, although even something like Agility Doublade could still work for certain boss fights. But yeah, another really cool thing that they can do. So with this infinite usability capsule, they can switch between Expertise and Levitate depending on when they need to. But as for Aegislash, you're giving up stance change. So you might be thinking, what's the fucking point? What's the point of running Levitate on Aegislash? Well, you won't have to switch forms when you use a move. So typically, I believe at least, that stance change on Aegislash will not switch forms if you use a utility move, for example, Will-O-Wisp or Putting Shot or Taunt or something like that, or Fortify, which is a steel type version of Recover. Any of those moves will not change your form, but you know, an attacking move like Shadow Sneak or something will change your form, as far as I remember. But what I do know is that Soul Absorb functions like an attacking move. It comes from Nightshade. So Soul Absorb is essentially Nightshade, but it heals you by 100% as well. So say, for example, you're level 40, you heal 40 HP and you deal 40 HP. That's really, really great, especially on Shield form, because of how bulky you are and because of how shitty your attack and special attack are. So I think that's really awesome. And the Soul Absorb is perfect for Shield form, is my point. That's a great, great staple move for sure. You can honestly just click that a bunch and just like take hits for days with Levitate. And that's sick, because normally if you're running stance change, you'll change into Blade form when you click Soul Absorb, which defeats the point. So yeah, that's really awesome. They have tons of great powerful stab options. Their Steel Stab is much stronger on the special side, with Flash Cannon being 110 base power, 90% accurate. You also have priority on the special side and Spook, and you have good coverage on the special side in the form of stuff like Thunderbolt, Psychic, Aura Sphere, Focus Blast, Charge Beam, Shockwave, which is priority, Signal Beam, all kinds of new fun stuff. Ominous Wind is pretty great on Levitate or Stance Change, but Levitate especially because, like I said, it's kind of similar to Soul Absorb. Levitate will always drop the opponent's attack. Oh my god. Ominous Wind will always drop the opponent's attack and special attack by 1 now, so that's a really great effect for Levitate Aegislash to abuse. But yeah, Doublade, I think Doublade's way cooler personally. I just like his design a lot, but Aegislash is also awesome and very, very good. I don't need to explain why Aegislash is good, really. I believe I did make King Shield lower PP because other Pokemon get access to it, and the AI, you can easily cheese it. Yeah, actually, oh my god, 2 PP, what the hell am I thinking? Why am I only giving 2 PP? Dude, I'm putting that back to 5, what the hell? I don't know what the hell I was thinking, hold on. I guess I just kind of forgot about Aegislash when I did that. It has, that was a, yeah, it has 10 here, so we'll just put it as 5. 5 is pretty fair. I just want to limit the switching forms a little bit because it is very easy to exploit the AI with stance change. So, you know, 5 PP is plenty. You just got to be smart about when you click it. And you can also just not run blade form for certain fights because you're not always going to need that offensive prowess. You can always just use levitate when you need it. Whenever you see in the trainer documents that there's a ground type user or a ground type move user that you need to switch in on coming up ahead, then you can go ahead and slap on levitate. Otherwise, expertise on Doublade is incredible. And it has another benefit of also having multiple effects several times. So for example, something like lunge will drop the opponent's defense twice. Ominous wind will drop the attack special attack twice. You know, moves that can flinch like Iron Head will have 2 chances to flinch, so it's a roughly 51% chance because of the way math works. But death drops, you know, those happen twice, or those can happen twice. Rock Slide can flinch twice. That kind of thing is really cool. Another thing that's really important is that it bypasses super effective berries. For example, like any type of berry, I can't think of the name right now, but there's a bunch of super effective ones. I don't know, Wakan berry, whatever, right? Like, well, you wouldn't be running people on Doublade, but you get the idea. So that's super good. So you not only do bypass berries, you also bypass focus sash, which is a very common way to stop sweeping, which makes Doublade a great in-game sweeper because a lot of anti-setup things. I mean, don't get it twisted. There's still a lot of other anti-setup stuff like priority, heart swap, whirlwind roar, and topsy-turvy as well. Well, Doublade doesn't give a shit about first impression because he 2 times resist it. No longer 4 times resist bug because Ghost doesn't resist bug anymore, but 2 times resist with 150 base defense and a Violite potentially is more than enough to, you know, tank a first impression with ease. So he is where, you know, stuff like Sucker Punch, although again his defense is so high that physical priority is not so much of a threat to him. There is still tons of special priority moves in this hack though, just they're not as widespread on the AI because the AI doesn't know how to click lower base power moves like priority moves the right way. But yeah, that's super great. He's a very good sweeper because you can click Swords Dance. That only has 1 PP now, but you know, with your bulk you can get it off pretty easily as long as you're not getting taunted by the AI, and then all you have to worry about is phasing moves at that point, or any Pokemon that just lives your hit and kills you back, or whatever it is, or lives a Shadow Sneak that's faster than you and kills you, whatever. There's all kinds of factors, but the point is he's one of the better Pokemon that can get a setup move off and actually take advantage of it because of that expertise ability, which bypasses focus, sash, and slurry, and all this other stuff. So yeah, super awesome. Doublade and Aegislash, both very viable. Hollow Knight is also pretty great. I did opt to give a Technician just because I couldn't really think of any other ability that was worth using. No Guard is obviously useless on both Hollow Knight and Doublade. They don't have any good moves to abuse with it really, because most moves in general are far more accurate in this hack, so No Guard is kind of shit. It's mostly just a hindrance, if anything. And yeah, I just think Technician kind of fits on Age's vibe, and it works great with stuff like Metal Claw, Shadow Sneak, Aerial Ace being priority, Shadow Sneak obviously being priority, Rock Tomb is pretty nice, you know, all that kind of stuff. Knockoff is always Technician boosted, but you're not going to need that for 0 Ghost type, for coverage at least. Yeah, that's really been it. Like, honestly, I think I'm just going to leave the video off there. You have other powerful stab moves on the special side, especially you have stuff like Spectral Beam, which is 150 base power, Ghost type Draco Meteor. Again, another thing I didn't say yet in this video is that all these busting changes are balanced for an in-game setting. It's not balanced for any sort of competitive play. Pretty much 90% of the buffs and changes in this hack would be absolutely unreasonable in any sort of fair competitive sense. Not even just because they're strong, but just because every Pokemon can do like 5 different things, and that's not healthy for any type of competitive game. But in-game, it's really awesome to have those options because you can use it to get out of tough battles without having to go and, you know, change your team around. You can use the Pokemon that you have, and if you're smart and you think outside the box, you can come to some type of solution if you use the Infinite Ability Capsules, Infinite UV Training Items, TMs, and Tutor moves to their fullest extent. But yeah, I'll leave the video off there. Thank you so much for listening. Last thing I guess I can say is why I chose to give Aegislash a speed boost, because again, those competitively minded players who are listening to this might be like, what the fuck, Aegislash is broken now. Oh my god, why would you do this? It's not broken. It's specific. Not only are you not guaranteed max speed IVs and EVs, max speed IVs and a plus speed nature in game, so your 75 base speed tier is not nearly as good as you might think when the AI has max IVs and potentially a plus speed nature. You also, like, it's not that good of a speed tier anymore. It never was, but especially now it's not that great. It is good, don't get me wrong, it's a nice buff, but like, if you go to the speed tier guide here on the Google Sheet, you can see that 75 is like not that crazy at all. It's still good. It's a very good speed tier. You can run Scarf on Blade Form very well now, even better than before, so that's really fun. But, you know, it's nothing too crazy. It's just a nice little option. And then that 75 HP is very nice, especially for that shield form, or with Levitate. It's super bulky with 75, 150, 150 with Levitate as a Steel Ghost type is beautiful. So yeah, reliable recovery, which every Pokemon has on this hack for the most part. Good utility moves, Parting Shot, Will O Wisp, you know, Metal Burst, Soul Absorb, all kinds of great stuff. So yeah, Soul Absorb especially is awesome. I would definitely run that on shield form. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this type of video. Yeah, make sure you drop a like if you listen this far into the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Appreciate you for listening. I'll be back with more Talos Pokemon coming up.